Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the MLG Finals 2015, live here from New Orleans. Benson joined by the wonderful Christopher Puckett at the analysis desk.
Oh, hey, bud.
Hey, how you doing? How's your day going?
Doing pretty good. I just ran out, got some barbecue food.
You good?
Yeah, ready to eat it.
Ready? You haven't eaten it yet?
Not yet.
Dedication
I
to
can
the cause,
smell it.
Man, you can smell it. Is it?
I got some coleslaw with it. New Orleans has some of the best food on the planet.
I thought New Orleans was supposed to be more seafood. Why'd you get barbecue?
You know, when you have some pigs, sometimes you just need to cook them, add some barbecue sauce, little spices.
Okay.
Goes along with your shrimp real well.
Okay, makes sense. Makes sense.
It's normal.
Well, how are you finding the event overall as a whole? Obviously, you've been a part of pretty much every single MLG event there's ever been, except for, was it just one, like only one? Something?
Yeah, I missed MLG 1. After that, hit all the other pro circuit stops.
Pretty consistent.
Came straight back from the honeymoon, straight here
how does
to
this
make sure to
compare?
get to number 100.
Compared to like when it first started for you, from the bottom to now?
You know, we're no longer in a hotel ballroom.
So it has changed a little bit. We are in fact in a convention center.
I'm no longer carrying 27-inch TVs to set up the venue. And we're not using duct tape to make sure no one steps over the power cords. We've evolved a bit, Ben. No, it's amazing. You know, you see the main stages. I mean, just look at the production behind it. This is absolutely beautiful here. A lot of awesome stuff that we're seeing from the production crew. And honestly, the gameplay has evolved. There wasn't a time back in 2004 where people would play 8 hours a day to get ready for a tournament like this. And we used to have a $10,000, a $15,000 prize pool that had people excited. $250,000 on the line for Call of Duty this week.
It's a bit large, really, isn't it? Second biggest of the year. And honestly, the competition we've seen so far has been pretty good. A lot of the open bracket teams coming out, playing very well. And we're going to continue off with the open bracket teams. Coming up next, it's actually going to be Optic Gaming versus Thrust. So we get to see some more open bracket teams. And of course, Optic Gaming coming in the #1 seed.
Yeah.
Been in every single grand final this year except for one, which unfortunately for them just so happens to be the biggest event of the year, Call of Duty World Championship, which kind of asks the question, are we going to see them kind of get a little bit of redemption for that event here? Or do you think potentially we could see them falter once again? Because it's been a bit of a slow start for Optic. They've been good. They haven't lost, obviously.
Right.
Their performances haven't been that of what you expect.
Dude, they were down 0-2 against Infused to start the weekend. That's what you're getting to, Ben.
You know, yeah.
They've had some close games, especially games that you thought would be blowouts.
Yep.
But you talk to Crim 6 and he says, all right, Friday we didn't warm up. We had some audio issues. We weren't really expecting our opponents to be that strong, but he was impressed with the competition here. I feel like that first match was a wake-up call. We've seen a lot of the top teams, though, the ones that we expect to like cruise through everybody, going the distance, the final hills, round 11s, being able to clutch up.
FaZe did just that in hardpoint, going all the way to those final hills, making it a little shaky, which is interesting. Whether that was just kind of the start of the event, just trying to get through groups, and it could potentially change when we get to bracket play in a little bit. Of course, bracket play starts at, I believe, 4:30 p.m. local time with winners bracket round #1. So just really trying to figure out who's going to come out of each group. I believe there could actually be a potential tiebreaker situation in Group B as well. So that could get a little interesting. Of course, we love our storylines, but we'll have to wait and see exactly what happens.
We want to see some tiebreakers. Let's not lie to the people out there. We always love a little bit of drama going in. Speaking of drama,
yes,
guy on Thrust used to wear an Optic jersey.
Uh-oh.
It was an Optic Nation jersey, but
no.
Moach, after Season 3, decided he was done. Before the event even finished, he announced, I am no longer with Optic Nation, looking for a new squad.
He was, like, stood next to us as well, which was a super ironic thing. He came over to the analysis desk and he was like, oh, by the way, I'm leaving Optic Nation. It was like, oh, great.
Embo's read the tweet. He's like, oh, thanks for the heads up, dude.
Yeah, would have been nice to know.
But now he's playing alongside the other guys on Thrust, and this is a squad that took TK the distance. Round 11, Game 5, TK able to clutch up there. But Thrust, definitely kind of a new squad to look out for. How strong are they, and can they give Optic Gaming a run for their money, much like Infused did? I think they definitely have the talent to cause some problems in all kinds of game modes.
I think, for me, Moach is the keystone to that whole team. I think Moach this year has really come out and proven himself a lot. You go back to Black Ops 2, he wasn't really a player a lot of people were talking about. He was around, don't get me wrong, but no one was talking about him. Ghost, he really kind of came out and made a staple that him with an assault rifle was a very, very talented individual. Then, of course, the meta of the game kind of changed drastically to just being SMG, so he was kind of nullified towards the end of the game a little bit. He still had a staple.
The Vector still shot like an AR.
Yeah, pretty much, that's not a lie. But his kind of staple of just being that solid AR wasn't as strong as it could have been. Then coming into this game, he really has propelled himself. I think, you talk about best ARs, he's someone which is, in that conversation. And obviously, he's not up there with Formula Clay, not to kid ourselves, but he is very, very talented as a player. And that's something which Optic are really going to have to try and kind of clamp down on. Of course, Formal played against Moch several times throughout the year. They used to be on sister teams, so they know exactly how they're going to play. It really is, to me, just going to come down to Moch for this Thrust team. I think if Moch can shut things down and, start off strong, that's the key. It's very much like when we're talking about FaZe earlier on, Chris, with Clayster. If Formal starts slow and Moch can take advantage of that, maybe we see a hardpoint swing in favor of Thrust. Optic haven't started hardpoint strong so far this weekend. Whether that's going to change today, moving on to Saturday, personally, I hope it does, because I want to see that dominant Optic gaming squad, and I want to see that dominant FaZe squad, because that's the grand final that I personally want to see.
Ben, I have something to admit to you.
Okay, here we go.
I do not know who's on Thrust's starting lineup.
Wonderful.
I do not know all 4 players. This squad was forming as I was taking off for the honeymoon. Okay. I'm excited to see what they're made of. Optic gaming.
You're okay because you weren't going on your honeymoon, so that's
exactly. I was not thinking about video games at all.
It's perfectly okay.
But I'm excited. I mean, you hear what they've been able to do on Bravo. This is their first time on the main stage. Optic Gaming hasn't looked as pure as they have in previous seasons. Excited to see how they're going to be playing on Saturday. They had a lot of time to sleep in. But you just look at this squad, Fears and Moch, those are probably the 2 players you're most familiar with. And really, the way Fears was playing back for TCM at the end of Season 3, you could argue he was the best player playing alongside TP and Aches.
Yeah, honestly, he's had a pretty interesting year. The full squad, of course, Moch, Lacefield, Fizz, and Royalty.
There's Royalty.
Yeah, he wants to get a little bit of revenge on his old teammates. And speaking of his old teammates, they have colossally pooped the bed this event. I don't want to call them out, but 3/4 of TR, terrible idea. Should have stuck with Royalty. He has been smiling all weekend because he knows his former teammates screwed up.
Yeah, and shout out to production. We saw their faces, of course. Lacefield, another guy, filled in Season 3 as a substitute, had some great games, aggressive SMG there. Royalty, though, I feel like he is the one player that has that experience against Optic Gaming, and he showed how fearless he was playing against them. The 1v3s, the clutch after clutch on recovery against them at Season 3. He's looking to finish strong, and this is a young, hungry squad. Thrust with a ton of potential here, and Optic Gaming is absolutely not prepared for their play style. I doubt they've even scrimmed them leading up to this event.
Definitely not. I'd be surprised if they had. And that's the great thing for Thrust. I think they're kind of coming in to this game knowing, hey, all right, we're going to be against the #1 team in terms of seeding. Arguably the #1 team right now. You can argue between yourselves, you think it's Optic or FaZe. It doesn't matter. You're going up against the Tier 1 team. Do they have anything to lose? Absolutely not. So just go out, have some fun, play your own game, mix some stuff up. Like you said, Optic isn't going to know how Thrust plays. Thrust knows how Optic plays. Immediately, you have that kind of advantage, which, going back to really the slow starts that we've seen Optic and FaZe have in Hardpoint, I think that's one of the reasons really why other teams know what they're going to do. It's been an entire year. This is the last event on the game. People have caught on now to what the top teams are doing, and Moch especially is going to have a lot of that. Royalty as well. Obviously just played them at Season 3. Arguably should have beat them at Season 3. Kind of threw that one away a little bit. Such a clutch player, though, don't get me wrong, and I think those two really can lead the way. Lacefield's always been explosive. We've seen him all year, online tournaments. He's been kind of making a little bit of a name for himself.
I remember this man on Skyrise with a sniper rifle and be like, what is Lacefield doing?
Yes, and actually, the maps, we can actually talk about that a little bit. I had them written down, and I lost them. Doesn't matter. The game's actually getting started.
Yeah,
so
we're just going to get this started. We'll let the smart
that.
guys talk about it. Let's send it over to our cast-off champion, as well as the Senator, Chance Jack Dunlop. Take it away.
Thank you, Chris. Yes, a great matchup starting up now. I saw a lot of talk on Twitter. Optic Gaming versus Thrust. Courage joined by Chance in the booth. Game number 1 going to be Compound Hardpoint. Now, Chance, I just had the opportunity to cast Thrust as they took down their opponents in Epsilon 3-1 in their last matchup. They've won all 3 respawns. Key to victory here for me, they need to start off hot in game 1. They cannot afford to give up this hard point with ease.
Yeah, without a doubt, but of course, out the gaming, I'm pretty sure every single person, with the exception of like the pure Thrust fans, are going to pick them to win, and there's no reason not to think that. Yes, they did look a little bit shaky yesterday, but still, they finished off with like a 9-2 map count, 3-0, and well, that's all 4 down right in their favor. Scump and Karma going to be leading that charge, each starting off with 2 kills.
Now, funny thing to point out is Thrust actually wound up winning this map in Game 4, so they just finished that series. Now they're hopping over here to Optic Gaming. They literally just played this map about 10 minutes ago. We'll see if they can continue to stay hot on this one, but their opponents this time around are regarded as one of the, well, best 2 teams in the world, or the top team in the world, depending on who you talk to. Karma already off to a 4-1 start yesterday. He had some shaky games. I know in one of the Search and Destroys, he went 1-10. Keep an eye on him this game to see if he can go consistent.
Yeah, without a doubt. And now, of course, you see Llama, of course, is going to be the player. Of course, gamer tags are mixed up. It's going to be Royalty. Moch is going to be playing under MLG Events 5. Lacefield is going to be playing under the Moose gamer tag. And then, of course, it is going to be Fears playing under Zyler.
And we'll give some reminders on that throughout the series. All the Optic Gaming guys have their normal gamer tags to play under right now. You can see control of the spawns momentarily was in control of Fears. He got naded out, and something to keep an eye on also this series, the use of Semtexes. Throughout this weekend, I've seen Semtexes used more than stun grenades on almost every single occasion. This is a map where they're used by maybe all 4 players on some teams. Right now, Crim6 rocking the stun grenades, but one map that comes to mind, Parliament Uplink, is almost just a Semtex fest right now. Off the start of this one, though, a 4 streak for Karma. He's over triple positive, leading the Optic Gaming team in slang. And it's kind of funny to say that's something you don't say too often when you watch this Optic Gaming lineup.
Yeah, without a doubt, he's been kind of back and forth. Never the consistent player, at least not for the past few tournaments, but when he is on, he can be pretty destructive, and that appears to be the case for this one. Again, pretty nice start out of him. Formal, of course, in that kill feed was also able to pick up 2, and you can see Karma not wasting any time, trying to be the selfless player, going to get that scrap time for his squad, but now, of course, the battle going to be going over towards that next hill.
And this is a hard point that can be locked down for a ton of time. If you get that back trailer spawn, if you have an AR watching over that scrapyard area, and 1 or 2 submachine gun players inside the hill, you can easily rack together time, but right there, you just saw Mochilla with that sub check and peek, something that he really didn't need to. He was watching over scrapyard with a submachine gun, easily got cut down by a bow, and just like that, that one poor decision lost control of that area for his team. The flank came in from Optic Gaming, and it all fell apart from there. Here's an example of utilizing that dark corner. Scump will happily stand behind this C-pillar for as long as possible and build Optic Gaming their lead. It's about to be about 30 seconds in favor of OG.
Yeah, without a doubt. And uncharacteristically, Scump is actually going to miss that gunfight. Crim6 coming in with a stomp, but he is going to get cut down eventually. That was Moch inside the hill now, trying to rack some time up for Thrust. But of course, well, he's going to have 4 members in front of him. And you were talking about the Semtexes earlier. They are coming out in full force. Each Formal and Karma able to pick up a kill there. So OG, once again, going to be able to get that scrap time.
I saw a CodStats tweet prior to this event starting that it's something like 80+% of teams who outslay win the hard points. Well, earlier, in hardpoint, when facing Epsilon, Thrust was outslayed by about 15 kills, and they still won by over 20 seconds. Right now, they are being outslayed. Let's see, though, if they can still get the objective done. Still down by about 20 seconds. They're coming in for the break right now, still in control. They've got 1 more player to beat, but the duo of Formal and Scump get the better of them.
Well, Scump is going to fall. Formal and Karma are still going to be there, though. Karma was able to pick up 1, but he eventually is going to get shut down again by the hands of Moch. Again, Moch trying to make up. He left Optic once. He's trying to beat the other Optic Gaming team now. And, of course, you're also going to have players like Royalty in the hill constantly, but Scump eventually going to come inside. He's going to be able to pick up, too, getting Optic Gaming in control of the hill once again.
And this is really no surprise to see Thrust doing pretty well in pool play, right? This is what we were talking about earlier. Everyone expected them to get out of the open bracket. Now to see where they finish, do they have the opportunity to be the top 2 in pools to move on to winner's bracket? I do believe Optic Gaming has already won their pool when they finished 3-0 last night. In pool play, we'll see if they're able to get it done with a perfect Pool A finish at 4-0. Right now, still only 13 seconds separating these 2 teams. Karma remaining hot, sitting at 17-13.
Yeah, without a doubt, it was interesting. You know, the guys on analysis earlier were talking about how Thrust really has nothing to lose going against the best team in the game. Worst case scenario, yes, you get beat, but most people would be expecting that to begin with. But at the same time, Optic Gaming, also they can afford to play recklessly more or less. They also have nothing to lose, unless they're going for, you know, the perfect tournament more or less. But again, the seeding not going to be a factor for these guys. They're just trying to get momentum to carry into Championship Sunday.
Great use by Thrust of Semtexes from that back scrapyard area to get Karma off the power position on back caution. Now he's going to push inside the hard point, not able to hold that back area for his team, but it doesn't matter when Optic Gaming is winning basically every gunfight that comes in front of him. Finally, he does fall, and through the first 5 minutes, Karma is on pace for over 40 kills in this game. We'll see if he can remain on that record right now. 115 to 95. Still a close one, though.
Yeah, he's looking fresh, but now, of course, Royalty trying to get in a hill thrust, not too far behind at all, only down by about 18 points. Of course, he is going to get cut down, but that is going to allow Lacefield to get himself into the hill. Also, a team kill coming and make that 2. Crimsix nading 2 different teammates there. Not exactly the type of play you want to make, and of course, you do see Lacefield trying to capitalize on that. Now they've cut the deficit down just to about 10 points.
That's something I've seen more often this weekend than any other. The uses of Semtexes by so many teams means more team nade kills. A lot of times, someone will toss out that Semtex, it'll stick inside the hard point, your teammates will push aggressively, a call out will be missed, and instead of you killing the opponents, your teammates both perish to your own nade. So there's an example of it. And well, look at the score right now, Chance. 116 to 115, a 1-point game between Optic Gaming and Thrust. I said prior to it starting, this Thrust team just played this map. It was a close one all the way to the end. Well, it's going to be matched up the same way here against Optic Gaming.
Yeah, without a doubt. Now you see both teams trying to fight for those spawns. It took 5 seconds just before anyone even set foot in that hill. Of course, Crimsix going to be taking that roll. Scump trying to push out those spawns, rack up some kills. Has 2 players in front of him. Not even going to be able to win that first gunfight. He's going to get shut down by Royalty, it looks like. Of course, now we're going to see Lacefield trying to get in the hill. Formal, though, able to pick up 2. He's on a 3 streak while sitting inside, milking this time.
Yeah, Formal now beginning to heat up. The other AR player across the side for Thrust, Fierce, sitting at 14 and 23. A pretty quiet game from him. He's going to be a big factor. He needs to step up in these next few minutes. The lead back out to about 20 seconds for Optic Gaming. Another push coming in, and that's a heads-up play from Formal. Typically, you can't get away with double jumping over the L wall there and picking up the player inside the hard point, but he knew the players who were blocking the spawn at that back bridge area with the AR were not set up in the position yet to stop him. He picked up that kill, got the entry for his team. They then went and cleaned up the rest. But now back inside the hard point, you've got Lacefield, the submachine gun player for this team, who's been impressing online and on land. Picks up 2, loses the gun battle versus the 3rd. Thrust still within 30 seconds.
Yep, and now you see all players from Optic Gaming setting up, getting control of this hill. Karma's going to be inside, and Crimsix with his 3rd team kill that I've seen, all specifically with those nades. Of course, Formal right now is going to be sitting on a 5, make it a 7 streak as he's able to pick up those 2. Going to be going for the knife as well, as I think he just ran out of ammo, but he's going to have to find a weapon to continue his destruction. He has a fresh 128 bullets, 4 more clips for him, and of course, as soon as we call out the streak, he is going to get taken down. Nonetheless, though, that entire time, Crimsix was sitting inside the hill, building out the Gaming's lead, 185 to 129.
And perfectly played there by Crimsix. Uses that submachine gun in dark corner, knows the opponents are spawning out. He's got his teammates there that can easily fill his role in the hill if he dies. So he gambles, he takes out the bow, picks up the kill on the player pushing Scrapyard. That pushes Optic Gaming's lead even more, and what was a tied game just 2 hard points ago is now an 80-second lead and growing for Optic Gaming. They're absolutely running away with this one.
Yeah, Crimsix went on a 4 streak inside that last hill. Formal right now has the hot hand as well. He's on a 3 streak while milking the hill time early on. He spent 10 seconds inside that hill before he got challenged even a single time. Optic Gaming doing a decent job to lock it down. Of course, Thrust was able to come from the top and get control of it, but now they're going to have to fend off Optic Gaming.
And you know, I mentioned how before Formal kind of a quiet game. Since then, he went on a 7 streak and then a 4 streak. He's back on a 2 streak again, still inside the hard point, 6 captures, playing a very aggressive AR, but really the big difference here, Chance, is that the slaying was pretty even earlier in the game, but right now Optic Gaming is positive 30. They've absolutely shredded the rest of Thrust in the second half, and I say it often and I'll say it again, if you're gonna beat Optic Gaming, you need to match them in all aspects of the game from start to finish, not just the first 5 minutes. At the half, these two teams, after the first 6 minutes, these two teams are 116 to 115. Now Optic Gaming will close it out in this final hard point. They're definitely going for that 250.
Yeah, without a doubt, and they're probably going to get it pretty quickly. But of course, this game way past the point of mathematically impossible.
Oh, yeah.
But if you're an Optic Gaming fan, you got to be feeling pretty good. Not only did Karma definitely show up, at least for map number 1, everyone right now performing. If Scumpy is doing the worst on your team and you're winning by 100 points, you are having a phenomenal performance, because that's not something you see. A lot of times, Scumpy's kind of carrying the rest of the team, putting him on his back, but no matter, he's at the bottom of the scoreboard, and it reflects the rest of Optic Gaming able to step up for this team, but looking much more comfortable than they did yesterday.
Pretty quick and easy stuff for Optic Gaming through the first 5 minutes. I thought we were going to have a close one on our hands.
Nah.
I think I jinxed the Chance when I said the last match for Thrust of this map went all the way to the end. Optic Gaming ran away with that one. Crimsix, 12 captures, 38 kills, 26 deaths, and 3 team kills as well, dropping the 40 bomb if you count those 3 onto his number.
No, I simply don't think it's feasible to expect that Thrust is going to be able to take off pretty much any respawn. Maybe an uplink, maybe, but the hard points, I think that's going to be the story every single time. The question for Thrust, can they at the very least take any of the Surge games? I think it's doable. It's going to be, definitely a difficult mountain to climb. Capable, though, but that's what we're going to have to figure out for map number 2.
Yeah, my big question mark, how are they going to perform in map 2? Solar Search and Destroy. You said that you don't think they're going to win any respawns. Well, that automatically puts us as a must-win if Thrust want any chance to take this series. Ladies and gentlemen, don't go anywhere when we come back. Game number 2.